ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. Chad-zumock collides with inappropriate Earl for a swap cast. The one you don't want to miss. A very special episode of Inappropriate Earl with Earl Skakel.
Yeah, it's great to be here, man. It's just about Brody again.
We're doing a Brody tribute show. Steve Simone's having technology issues. So hopefully he'll be popping in. Apparently he has dial-up connection and a AOL account or something. I don't know.
DSL.
I'm pretty sure he's trying to log on with a typewriter.
I mean, in all the fair disclosure, I have AOL account too, so I can't really hate on him for that.
You're not hating on Simone. How could you hate on Steve Simone? He's a great guy.
Oh, he's literally the nicest guy in all of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, we both moved down here to Florida right around the same time, and he came down here and he has a girl now. She's cute and she's successful and he's happy. He's like, can't believe how happy I am now.
I'm assuming she's above 18, but a lot of our comedy comrades don't subscribe to that theory.
We're off to a bad Brody tribute.
I think Brody's glad he's dead.
He missed out on the Me Too movement.
I don't think Brody would have been Me Too'd.
No, I'm just saying he would missed out on, his commentary.
Oh yeah. He would have been fun to get his take on Weinstein and all the comic buddies we know who are, they're all coming back, man. All of them. So.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about Brody is he, I don't think he would have gotten angrier and angrier as everything happened with the shutdowns. Although he would have thrived during COVID, the shutdowns with this Periscope.
Yes, he would have. But Brody thrived on stage time. He would have lost his mind. He probably would have killed himself. I don't mean that in a funny way. All comics, I think, get their mental stability on stage. If that makes any sense. And so he not being able to get on stage, he would have gone mad.
Yeah, I could see that too. He has an outlet. Tyler, you're familiar with Brody, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny, and it's also great just to kind of just be a fly on the wall for this, because I am just a fan. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, and legit just a fan. It was insane to hear the news, when you found out that he did what he did. I think I texted you, Chad, whenever I found out, because I was just like, what? Is this for real? Because Brody is someone who you gotta just know him or know of him to hear anything about him. If he's gonna play somewhere, if whatever it is. But for some reason, that was on Yahoo News or some shit, right? And so that's where it was so weird that I saw on Yahoo the news about him, and that's why I texted you, almost is this for real?
Yeah.
So that's what sucked, because he was awesome. He was awesome, and again, I don't know him the way that you guys do, but I tend to believe that a lot of what I saw in his show Enjoy It was probably pretty close to how he was in person, if I had to guess.
Yeah. It's funny you said you saw it trending on Yahoo News. It was pretty bittersweet because Brody lived for that coverage, and he got so much coverage for his death that he kind of missed out on it. Him moving or with COVID and that stuff, I feel like he could have just moved to Tampa with you. I know. Yes, my death is trending.
305. The new Mr. 305, right?
He's 818.
Fuck Pitbull.
Yeah, he would have been the new 305 now that Kimbo Slice died of a heart attack.
They're dropping like flies.
That was probably the funniest I've ever laughed, was that one Kimbo Slice fight where he fought Dada 5000, who was another 305er. he was the guy who did the illegal fights in like, I don't know, a swamp in Jacksonville. He had like a mock cage. There's a great documentary about him. I forget what it's called, but the guy who did Cocaine Cowboys, Billy Corbin.
Billy Corbin, yeah.
And I remember one of the scenes was a pit bull taking a shit in the fake octagon they had made. And
it's amazing.
I tweeted out that was the best part of the documentary. Just kidding. And Billy Corbin messaged me going, "Yeah, I guess everyone's a critic." And now we become friends.
That's awesome.
I lived in Miami for a couple of years, and I always loved the docs, but I don't remember the radio station down there. It's a popular radio station, and Billy Corbin would always just be a guest, and I couldn't stand him, like just being a guest, but like the more I just kind of like learned about him and you know, obviously I loved the documentaries, everything. I was just like, okay, no, he's got all the right in the world to be, I don't want to say like full of himself or cocky, but he kind of is. But I guess my thing was always like, this is your only doc. This is your only doc you did. And then he did the like the ESPN 30 for 30 doc and like started to gain traction that way. And he's just great. He's great. So I mean, I take it all back.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot of documentaries out. He's got one that I think is on Netflix now about juicing baseballs or something about cheating in pro baseball. That was really good.
About the
MMA one.
Was that about Houston or?
No, it was about. I think it was about how the league juiced the baseballs in the home run era.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that the Major League Baseball, I forget what they did to the baseballs, but they made them more livelier so there could be more homers.
Okay.
Which is why I've always thought anyone who cheated, like, you know, like Pete Rose, they say, or the gambling and all the ways that baseball cheats, they should all be in the Hall of Fame. You know,
I mean, the history of baseball is cheating. It's just that's their history. They cheat nonstop, whether it's putting pine tar on the bat or spit on the fastball or not allowing black people in the league. There's always cheating going on.
No, it's true, though.
What would be hilarious if they originally let black people in the league and they're like, hold on. The Pete Rose thing is super, super interesting to me because I actually I'm too young and too lazy to actually look into it all. But did he ever place bets against his team when he was managing?
They say no.
Then in that case, who the fuck? Like in that case, good for him. No.
I mean, here's the thing, though. If he bet on his team to win, which you think, it makes sense. Like, what harm is that? I think the harm is, like, I'm a big Reds fan. We can go into that later, but I'm pretty knowledgeable about the roster during that time frame. And, like, the best pitcher for the Reds at that time was Tom Browning, who, he was just a great pitcher. And I think John Franco was the closer. And I think there was definitely a few games where he left both of those guys in for too long because he wanted to win that game, and it probably ended up making them lose because, it's there's a weird technical, he bet on the Reds to win, but he left Browning in an extra inning, and he got shelled in that inning, so they lost the game. So it did his gambling, you could say, and I'm a Rose guy, you could say it affected the outcome.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure that's a whole pod in itself.
Yes,
probably out there.
Baseball,
but I do think he should be in the Hall. Like you got, not Gaylord Perry. He cheated in every one of his wins with spitballs, and Ty Cobb was a racist, like, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
There's so many scummy people in the Hall of Fame that I don't see why Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, you think they got caught. There were many more who didn't.
Well, Clemens went under oath and then went to Capitol Hill. It was embarrassing. It was just like, come on, dude.
Well, they weren't good witnesses. I remember like McGuire was like, I'm not going to talk about that. It was like, well, that's why you're here. Like, what do you, like a comic going on stage going, I'm not going to do any jokes tonight. It's like, what? And and there's so many players who cheated, the juicing of the bats. I think they put pine tar inside the bat. So it's like a fucking stick of dynamite.
Albert Bell corking the bat.
Yeah, corking the bat. Don Sutton, very famous pitcher in the 70s and 80s, would take a razor blade to the baseballs in his glove, Vaseline on the ball to make it drop, I guess.
Yeah, this is where it sucks, because this is where it's like I wish that we could have Brody's take on some of this stuff, being a pitcher,
Did Brody cheat, or was he on the up and up?
Well, if he didn't, I'm assuming if he cheated, he would have gotten into the majors.
There you go.
So, by the way, that documentary is called Screwball, and it's about the doping scandal in baseball. So,
oh yeah, Florentine was telling me about that. Yeah.
It's really good. So,
Earl, when was the first time you met Brody?
I mean, boy, I don't know if I remember the very first time, but I remember I used to do a room Sunday nights called the Knitting Factory.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Big music. Yeah, I think there was one in New York, but in LA it was a big music club, like 3 or 4 rooms, and they had comedy on Sunday nights. Yeah,
like Owen would go up, Nick Swartzen, your boy Ramsey Moore.
Ramsey Moore, I think, ran the room. Ramsey Moore, funny comic, died of a heart attack, but he was 500 pounds, so it's not really a surprise. That's why I don't get like Ralphie May. It's 594. It's like you can't be shocked that he died of a heart attack. But Brody would come, and this was a very intimidating room because it was the smaller of the 3 or 4 rooms, and so you knew if someone famous was in the room that you were looking at them. It was Swartzen, Anthony Clark when he was big, Ian Bagg, who's a great. He's a Canadian comic, but he's LA based.
I followed him and bombed in that room.
A lot of people have, because he does the crowd work like better than anyone. So he doesn't really give you a lot. I mean, he sets you up for big laughs just because the room's hot, but he also, with the crowd work, it sucks a lot of energy out of the room because they're tired from, the questions and the participation angle. So he's almost impossible to follow. I don't think it's that you bombed. I see it at the Comedy Store a lot with a guy, Rick Ingram, who's very similar. But Brody would come in and close out the show on Sunday nights, and it was like this bizarre. And I didn't really know him, so he set up these wood chairs, and he started playing the drums on them, and he was doing like calf raises and like this bizarre crowd work, asking someone where they went to high school, and he didn't know I was a comic, so I think he said, "Where'd you go to high school?" I'm like, "Notre Dame High." And he's like, "Yes, Notre Dame High, Sherman Oaks, Tim Foley, shortstop of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Jack McDowell, Cy Young Award winner in 1988. Enjoy it, you got it. The Knights, Woodman and Riverside." But it was like this. How does this guy do this impromptu? Like, who knows where Notre Dame High? Who knows the fucking intersection of Notre Dame High? So he was iconic, and it just popped into my head. I believe it's the first time I met him was when he was hosting Potluck at the Comedy Store, and I think I told this story a few times. But
he had been a terrible host.
Well, this will tell you how good of a host he was or wasn't. This kid was on stage and he's bombing pretty badly. Now back in the OR potluck days, early 2000s, it was dreadful. It's just it's not the Comedy Store today where, all these big comics are there. It was like the worst of the worst. And this kid gets off stage and he knew he had just bombed. And Brody was like, "Where are you from, kid?" And the guy really meekly was like, "La Jolla." And Brody was like, "Well, that drive just got a lot longer." And the kid ran out crying, and I never saw the kid ever again. And I thought, wow, what a dick. And then, obviously I got to know him, and now I tell that story, and it's funny to me because, and I know it's a long story, the second guy goes up, he starts kind of bombing, and Brody's picking up on this chick that's sitting next to him, but he didn't realize the mic was right. You heard everything because he's like, "Hey, I play baseball. Do you like baseball?" And the guy on stage was like, "Brody, shut the fuck up." And Brody was like, "You can't talk to me like that. You have to be professional." And the guy, John Little is his name, he's like, "I'll be professional when you shut the fuck up." And he just walked off. He did the Bo Jackson, just ran through the tunnel, and I don't think I've seen John's best. So those stories are funny to me now, but looking back, I was like, shut the fuck up, bro. Who cares about this girl, whether she likes baseball or not? This room's tough enough. But now it's pretty funny.
There's a video online. You can go look on my YouTube page, Sit Down Zumock. I don't know. You ever seen this?
I'm probably in it.
Yeah, you might be in it. So you would show up at the Comedy Store. Brody would be like stretching in the parking lot. And I just show up and I just start laughing. You can't hear the audio, but you can watch online. I'm just standing there. I'm just rolling. And he's saying I distracted him. Like I distracted his stretching, his preparing for the show. He's like, and you don't know if he's kidding or not. Like he'll keep going with it. He's like yelling at me.
That was the best thing about Brody. You didn't know if it was an act or not.
But he was always filming, constantly filming himself. But yeah, watch this video because it's hilarious because I'm just like laughing the whole time because it's just, this is ridiculous. Like he's and I'm just standing there watching him stretch and laugh. It's ridiculous. Man.
Just the fact that 3 years later, people are still doing tributes and shows like this. And like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of posts today on the gram. Not many people, once they die, maybe 2 weeks later, people forget.
Or once they quit booking the Hollywood Improv, they don't say happy birthday.
Yeah, like my friend Paige, who, by the way, never booked me, but I still was friends with her. I just think it's funny.
I would say she booked me a lot less than all the other Hollywood bookers. I'll just say that. But then again, that was like in the heat of palming. It was hardcore 2019. It was hard to get spots in Hollywood Improv then.
What's hard because it's a levity club. So if you're not a levity client, it's next to impossible to get a spot there, which I get, But
so did Paige quit?
I don't know. I don't even know who the new booker is, to be honest with you. So they've always kind of, it used to be a girl named Erin, then it was Rita, then it was Paige, then it went back to Erin, who started booking me. So I was psyched, and then she is still with the company, and then Paige took over the booking. So I think they're a little more, not unorganized, but like the store, you know who the booker is. It's Adam, it's Emily, it's Tommy, it's whoever. There's no guesswork. With the Improv, it's who's booking it this week.
Yeah. I remember when Eric Abrams was booking it because I was getting spots.
Yeah, that's like that's maybe early to mid 2000s.
Yeah. Speaking of Brody, that's the very first place I saw him do stand-up was the Hollywood Improv. I was immediately a fan. Immediately. Because he was just, I've never seen anything like him. Like, it was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? You're just talking about his day. His literally what he did that day. And it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one like him. Like, there's like, you know, like when people see me do comedy, they're like, oh, you're kind of like Stephen Wright or, you know, Robert Schimmel or whoever. You know, I'm sure you get comparisons. You know, oh, Chad, you're like this person. You know, Brody, you can't say Brody. It was like, oh, you're kind of like maybe Andy Kaufman, like, because it's so weird, the humor.
I picked up, I couldn't be around Brody a lot because I started mimicking him, you know, just, I would start just doing random things on stage. Like, yes, I drive a Honda. I'm like, oh, I can't be doing this because the cadence was so catchy. Like, I wanted to do the cadence of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone, like if you hung out with Brody long enough in the hallway or wherever you did a podcast with him, you know, I caught myself a few times saying, you got it, buddy, on stage. I'm like, same thing. I was like, oh, I can't do that. That's like Brody's, like, but it was so in your head, you know, you just had to like not do it because it's like stealing.
Yeah.
But,
well, you know what you're saying, like we're still talking about him today. It's 3 years today that he died, by the way. That's why we're doing the show. Is the fact that he, for some reason, it didn't matter whether if you were the dishwasher or the Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper, he always remembered everyone's names, which was crazy.
yeah, I mean, he had this autistic memory. Like, you could mention any high school in California and he would know the intersection. Like, you know, I think he asked me once, was Notre Dame High my first choice? I'm like, well, I wanted to go to Loyola, which was an all dudes school at the time. I think it still is. And I don't know where the intersection is, but he, within 0.2 seconds, was like, yes, Florence and Figueroa, you know, the Monarchs, home of, and then he would name like all these famous alumni. Like, it was really bizarre.
Did you go to his memorial show?
Well, there's been so many. I don't know, like
the main one where the Hangover was there, the cast of the Hangover.
I did actually, and it was a packed, sold-out main room, and it was very well done. They just had a loop of Brody's greatest hits going on, and you know, I hate to give Jeff Ross credit, but
he broke the room. He broke it open.
Yeah, he did. He probably had the line of the night where Brody's three, I think grade school or high school friends were there, and they're telling these really sad stories and
long stories.
Yeah, and they're really sad and drawn out, but they weren't comics, so that it wasn't funny. It was just a sad story. And Jeff Ross got up there and was like, wow, with all those sad stories, now I know why Brody killed himself. You know, Brody's mom was there, and like it took
his sister.
Yes, yeah, and the sister's great. Last time I saw her, I was opening up for Dr. Ken, and she came, and I just started crying when I saw her, and she's like, "It's okay," you know, like, because she kind of looks like Brody, like facially, like. Not looks like him, but like you could definitely tell her brother sister.
Stephanie.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
So she came to the show where you were with Dr. Ken, and she just came to watch comedy.
Yeah, we were. Where was it? Some Indian casino in like I don't know, San Diego or something. And I assumed we were driving. This just shows you the level of status Dr. Ken is at. I thought, I'll drive. It'll take us under 2 hours. He's like, no, I booked us a private jet, and we were literally on a private jet for 24 minutes. Like that, that's just how ballers do it. Like a 24-minute private jet ride probably cost $10,000. But
Jesus Christ.
I love that Dr. Ken's fallback job is being a doctor in case comedy.
I know. But he's so nice, and he loves Brody too. Like, you know, I'm assuming. Oh well, they worked with the Hangover.
Hangover. Hangover 1 in it, 2 in it, cut out of 3, or I don't know. I forgot his whole.
Cut out of funny people.
Cut out of funny people. Yeah.
So, but I mean, Brody was a special dude. But like, you go back to, we're talking about him 3 years later. You know, there was a comic, very popular comedy store door guy, but he was a Canadian comic named Matt Billen. This typical story, you know, becomes a great comic in Canada, comes to LA to make it, gets a job as a door guy at the store, which is hard to get nowadays because now you have to be a funny comic. Like they just don't hire anybody. And, you know, he passed away recently, and I'm not saying people have forgotten about him, but, you know, you could tell a week later, it's like everyone had moved on. Okay, Matt was a great guy. Who's going to die this week? Like, you know, so Brody 3 years later, it's pretty impressive that people are still moved and affected by his loss.
Well, he was like when Norm died, and everyone was just like Googling stuff of Norm and YouTubing because he was always on talk shows. He was all over the place. Same with Brody. He was constantly filming himself. So if you want to tonight, you can go down a wormhole and just watch all Brody stuff all night long. It's out there.
Oh, probably my favorite Brody clip online is the one where he is hosting the James Cameron roast at the Friars Club in Beverly Hills. And
I got to see that. I never saw that one.
I think you have to, I don't know if it's on YouTube anymore, but if you Google it, some video like Vimeo pops up of it. And it's so funny. He's like roasting Jim Cameron. Like, he's like, I loved you on Growing Pains. My bad. That's Kirk Cameron. And Jim Cameron's just looking at him going, I'm not on Growing Pains. Like, you could tell he didn't quite get it. And
that's a good Brody joke, though. That's a Brody joke for real.
And then he has so many. Tom Arnold was on the dais. He's like, Tom booked me on Soul Plane as a terrorist. You know, like it's just, and it's so funny. If you're in a bad mood or feeling down, find that video and you'll be instantly happy. Starts talking about lawn bowling and Rancho Mirage and like doing stuff only Brody could do to get a laugh. Right.
No, his references were always just insane. So Sam Tripoli got it. He won it. Sam was this like 2018, 17 maybe. Sam wanted to do this. He wanted to do a tour. He wanted to put it with comics that he liked. So it was me, Florentine, and Brody Stevens. And we did Texas, like a bunch of cities in Texas. And we rented one car and we just stayed in Airbnbs. And we hung out all day, all night. And it was the most fun I ever had in comedy, just hanging out. And my favorite part is to watch Jim, Florentine, and Brody bond. Like we'd be at the coffee place and they'd just be talking about, because Brody was like really hardcore conservative. And he when he was talking politics, he would get really serious about it.
Yeah, no, he was. You wouldn't think he was conservative or political at all, but
he would listen to Alex Jones nonstop. Like I remember I had a room right next to his, and Alex Jones was on the whole time. He listened in the car. He loved Alex Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Brody was a strange dude.
That's surprising. That's surprising. I would never guess that.
Yeah. He had all these like weird little things, and but if you really wanted to, you can get him to a serious conversation. You just had to get there.
Yeah, he was hard to have a serious conversation with, though, because he was always on. You didn't know, you couldn't really talk about. You'd mention anything like, "Hey, let's go to Jerry's Deli. I saw, Tarantino there last week. We had a good conversation. I told him I laughed 142 times Django Unchained," and like, because that's the amount of time they said the N-word. Like, he was always doing not bits, but like he never was off.
Yeah. What was the Chelsea Lately joke he would tell? He's like, "I've met Chelsea Handler 12 times. She's met me once." Something along the lines of that. I'm glad you pointed this out, dude. I'm gonna watch this tonight. I can't wait. I just found the James Cameron roast.
Dude, it's so funny. I'm not doing it justice. It's about 7 minutes, and and can you play the audio or no?
I can't. I wish I knew how. Tyler, how we gotta figure this out.
I'll plug it in post, but
yeah, if you could put like a clip, a snippet, that'd be
some
great.
of it. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Fucking Ed McMahon's there too.
He told like a really funny
ridiculous.
Joke. And he's like, Ed just gave that 2 stars of David. Yes.
It's great to be here. We have Ed McMahon here, James Cameron. Give these guys a nice hand. No, I am not in the program. Apparently, Carrot Top got sick. So, Ed laughing at me, that's a professional. I was on Ed's show, Next Big Star. Remember that on the PAX network?
Yep.
Now I'm doing warm-up for a roast, so... Thank you, Tom.
And then he starts doing shtick. And can someone get Ed a bottle of Metal Musil? Just like...
James Cameron looks miserable.
I don't think he knew who Brody was, so he just didn't get it. But toward the end, he does. You could tell he starts like, okay, this guy's insane.
I remember because I started comedy in LA at 2004, and I was like at every open mic, and I'd run into Brody everywhere, and I'd see everybody. And I remember at the time it was MySpace was popular, and he was on Best Damn Sports Show. You remember that show with Chris Rose, and he was doing audience warm up for that. So I remember Brody's one of the first websites I ever saw, and it was immaculate. Like he had everything in detail on his MySpace. It was perfect. Like a list of things that he liked, his favorite athletes, and all these photos of celebrities. He had like 1 million photos of celebrities.
Good God, I couldn't even get my top 5 or top 8 right, let alone that shit.
No, he was very, autistic, and a neat freak and a germaphobe. Like he was all these things into one.
And it makes sense that he was a pitcher because he did everything in repetition. And that's what pitching is. It's just repetition. And his whole life was repetition, getting on stage, getting the reps in, going for a walk, steps with Steve.
But he was one of the very few comics that you could hear him do the same joke 1,000 times and you'd laugh every time.
And you did hear him 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to the pitching the batting cage to play catch.
Oh yeah, I go to the batting cage just to play catch.
He was a model in Pakistan, and he was gonna do a weekend at Club Jihad. Just like. Stupid joke. There's such juvenile humor.
I just got a call back for a stadium scene.
Yeah. and you'd laugh every time. And he would do an hour in the main room, which, I've recently gotten the honor to do. They call it the Brody spot. You're going on last and you just do basically. You're there till everyone pays their drinks. So it can be a tough spot because the crowds, they've checked out at that point. And there's very few people who can do it, like Brody. And that's the spot Kinnison did for a very long time before he became famous. Don Barris does it. So I've gotten a newfound respect recently when you're asked to do 45 minutes to an hour in somewhat of a dead room. And it's got nothing to do with the comics you went on before you. It's fucking, they've seen 4 hours of stand up. Like
when they're drunk, they're walking out. It's a lot of distractions. I remember walking in there with Eleanor, and I had just moved back to LA from Cleveland. And as soon as I walked in, he's like, Eleanor Kerrigan, chad-zumock, aren't you supposed to be in Cleveland? Like that was his thing from the stage.
Yeah, the crowd, you're looking at the crowd going, who the fuck is chad-zumock? And it could be
no,
me.
It's true.
could be Earl Skakel, or Tyler, like whoever walked in the room is going to get that treatment.
Yeah.
And of course, the crowd is like not knowing who we are, but they laugh anyway because Brody, Earl Skakel, Notre Dame High, then went to SMC for 2 years, took criminal law with Steve Sindel, my acting coach. You know, and the crowd's like, who the fuck is this guy? And who cares where he went to junior college to? Got a podcast, Inappropriate Earl. He's got a lot of wrestlers on, Hulk Hogan, brother. And like, but people still laugh because like you didn't have to know what Brody was talking about. Is the point of that? Like, he could be talking about you or me. He could be talking about Tyler. He could be talking about Eleanor dating, Uncle Ronnie, who nobody knew except for the comics, and people would laugh because who's Uncle Ronnie?
Well, I think I've talked about this on podcasts. One of the reasons I moved back to LA was because of Brody. I came out to visit. I was going bi-coastal. I don't know what the fuck I was doing because I was still running a room at the Hollywood Improv once a month. I had a show, and I was running with my friend Christina Walkinshaw. And Brody, I ran into him one day, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Nothing." He goes, "I'm going to a show. You want to come with me?" And I go, "Yeah." It was at that Madame Tomei. You remember that place on Hollywood Boulevard? It was like a bunch of mannequins and shit.
At the Wax Museum.
Yeah, the Wax Museum. So I went there with him, and afterwards we went and got food. He picked up the tab, by the way, and I know he didn't have a lot of money towards the end. That was nice. And we were talking about doing a tour because he couldn't get booked on the road for some reason. Like, I know David Spade took him out a few times, but he wanted to get into these comedy clubs. So we came up with a deal. I was doing the road hardcore. I was like, bro, you got a million credits. You should be working all these clubs. I was like, I'll get you in the club and we'll find cities where there's baseball games and you get me on the field for Major League Baseball because he had all that access. So he's like, that's a great idea. And then we were going to run a room in Burbank together when I moved out there because I planned on moving out there in January. And then in February 22nd, 3 years ago, he killed himself and kind of fucked up all the plans. We already had Chicago Zanies booked. I was going to go on the field at Wrigley, and it never happened.
Yeah, he was supposed to do my podcast the day he killed himself. So
talk about
the numbers would have been gigantic on it. So.
Wow.
But it's like when Piper, he was supposed to come to my house the day he died, and the numbers on my podcast went through the roof. I mean, I would get like on SoundCloud maybe 3,000 listens, which is about what I still get. The day Piper died, his episode went up to like 22,000 listens. So I wish Brody would have just waited another 12 hours.
Yeah, very selfish. Very selfish. That reminds me, how about you book me on your podcast? I'll fly out there so I can die.
I'm the podcast crypt keeper. I think Brody died, Piper died, Tawny Katane died. She was supposed to come back and do the podcast the week of her death.
Tyler's next.
Yeah,
Here I come. Oh, you just missed. I was just out there.
Let's do that.
God damn it.
Oh, yeah, you were out there for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Jeff Ross is still alive, so he's an anomaly.
We should get Dante.
Is he, though?
We should get Dante to do it.
I would, just to capture his delusional insanity. But I don't think that's going to happen. Ralphie May was going to do the podcast, but literally we drove by my house and he's like, dude, I'll never get up those steps. So,
Did you have Bob Saget booked too?
I did not have Bob Saget, but that's a weird story. That's getting weirder by the day.
Yeah, it's hard to follow.
There's some
I saw
play.
something in some magazine, like the Star, the Inquirer, but usually their reporting is pretty good. And it said like he had the injuries of someone who got hit in the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah, I heard the same.
I mean, he was so nice. Unless it was a robbery gone bad.
Well, you would think hotel. I mean, I know that JW Marriott because I was there a week prior, so I may have had something to do with it. No, but I'm trying. You would think the hotel would have cameras, people coming in and out of that room.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't think he had the reputation of being a druggie. Or, I mean, I'm sure being an '80s comic, he probably did a couple rounds with the booger sugar, but I don't recall any recent stories of him partying or whatever. So it is a weird, story. I mean, who knows if we'll ever get the real story?
Well, let me take it a step further because I want the Patreon to go up with conspiracy. You know who Heath Ledger was hanging around with when he died?
I don't.
The Olsen twins.
Hey.
I'm just saying. I think they're up to no good, and they're killing people.
I mean, anything's possible.
I was one of the Olsen twins. I think it was like Mary. I don't know who's who, but
Who's
yeah,
who?
Yeah, Harry. I guess he was hanging around. Heath Ledger was hanging around one of the Olsens before he died, before his OD. So I just don't trust him. That's all I'm going to say. I'll put it out there. I'll Tim.
But at least with Heath Ledger, there was rumors that he'd like to party and dabble in the cocaina from La Florida. But I don't recall any recent stories of the last couple of years of Bob Saget being anything but a doting husband and father. So, who knows? I mean, it's so weird. You'd think the hotel and their cameras, you'd think TMZ would have gotten access to that stuff. That they have people fucking everywhere. So, hopefully we find out one day.
It says, according to a report in People, the two were dating prior to his death. Mary Kate and Heath were casually dating for 3 months before Heath's death. So I don't know.
Well, isn't one of the Olsen twins married to like a billionaire, or is that just in my own head?
I think they're the billionaires.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think they're like moguls, from what I understand. That's why they didn't come back for Fuller House. They're like, fuck that money.
Fashion shit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Olsen twins have to date for money. I mean, I can't imagine the SAG checks they get a month. I mean, I get probably 1,000 a month from my various endeavors. So I can imagine what they get. They must get $100,000 a month easy. Yeah,
network TV, babe. That's good money right there. So
anything over 100 episodes.
Still, is it still what? So I'm naive. What else were they in other than Full House?
But that show was on the air forever. The residual checks. They've obviously done well in the fashion game.
Sure,
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would think that show was on network TV for a very long time.
Probably make, $50,000 a month from Miami Vice.
Good God.
I mean, it's crazy. That's when you see character actors who've done everything. They've been working, like the bad guy from Dexter this year, Clancy Brown. He's been a working actor for 50 years. So, he still gets SAG checks from the movie he did with Sean Penn in '83, Bad Boys. It's unbelievable.
Who's the guy we had on, Earl, on the bad guys? The guy in Scarface and Miami Vice?
Pepe Serna. He's probably the most well-known Mexican character actor. He's been he was in Scarface. That was 1983. So that's basically 40 years ago. And he was probably acting for 10 years before Scarface. So he's been same thing. Working actor, 50 years. He probably makes, just on Scarface alone, he probably has made a couple $100,000 over the years.
I just remember that podcast got really weird towards the end when he started rapping. You remember that?
Yeah. And then I stayed in touch with him for a little bit. I said, I'll buy a painting from this guy, thinking they'd be maybe $1,000. And he wanted $10,000 or something. I'm like, that's probably not gonna. But that's how rich he is. He can I think he lives in Palm Springs now. And
Palm Springs, you got it.
Got a Dateline exit, Palm Drive, but you know, that's how much money you can make as a character actor. You can just retire to Palm Springs and quit the business. And
driving out to Palm Springs to see my mother. We're going to Petco.
Yeah, that's a line he had in the roast. I forget the exact line, but he's like, lawn bowling on Tuesday with my mom, Palm Desert. You take a Bob Hope Drive and make a lane. He starts giving directions to the lawn bowling place. But like they were legitimate directions. He wasn't just making them up. You could tell.
Do you guys know like how him and Zach Galifianakis linked up? Like for him to get that hangover break and all that shit?
I don't.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Brody was hanging out around UCB at the time when UCB was a thing. And it was, you know, obviously before Zach was a big movie star and all that. And it was the time with David Cross and all the alt scene. Patton Oswalt, my guy, Earl's guy, who's been on Earl's podcast. Go listen to it, even though he tried to cancel me. So,
I don't get involved in feuds unless I'm directly linked.
But he was hanging around there, and Zach just took a liking to him, like we all did, like just because he was just like he's never seen anything like it. This guy was just out of control. He was crazy, but I mean, he just thought it was funny, and they just became friendly. And next thing you know, he's throwing Brody in movies, and you know he liked him. And actually, he was at Brody's tribute. I remember he was very, very talkative and hanging. He seemed generally excited to be there.
I remember at Brody's tribute looking over. I was sitting because my girl at the time worked. She wrote for Rob Riggle, and he was there, and he was crying. Like, you know, I think Rob's a pretty tough dude, been a legit Marine. Like, he wasn't just paperwork guy. He was combat. And you look over and see him crying. It's like, Jesus, this is, you know, that's how much Brody affected people. Like, he made grown men cry, and you know, it was just what was it last year? They did Brody Stevens Day, and we had a little ceremony at some park where Brody's bench is. I forget the name. Reseda. It's in Reseda somewhere, and you know, a lot of people. I think not the mayor, but someone pretty high up in LA spoke, and Dean Del Rey and Jeff Ross and. You know, the usual suspects.
Comics will do anything for stage time.
I mean, it's out of control. It's what I saw that day. People networking at a fucking memorial. You know,
when I saw people getting photos at Brody's thing with Bradley Cooper and who's the other dude, I was like, come on, guys, have some fucking class here.
That's what my initial problem with Dante was at Ralphie Mays Memorial. Dante's literally walking around with a selfie stick taking pictures. It's like, dude, this isn't a red carpet event. It's a memorial. Like, you know, I can even understand a clown like Jay Mandy and taking pictures with Russell Peters at his wedding, like they're friends. You know, okay, it's a wedding. You get a pass on that kind of. But yeah, I mean, people have no shame. Like, what do you think is going to happen if you take a picture at Ralphie Mays Memorial? But, you know, you're going to get signed to 3 Arts.
Maybe Golden Artist Entertainment.
Well, maybe. I mean, you know, I love all these people they sign at Golden Artist Entertainment who stop working the minute they sign there. Like, he had some girl from Sons of Anarchy who, I think her name's Taryn Manning. Like, she's constantly working. You know, she was on Sons, she was on various other shows, and then she literally hasn't worked in 3 years. Like, he literally takes working actors and stops them from working.
Tyler, this is one of
you're over my head here, but I'm interested.
There's a guy comic named Dante, and he's now.
That's the girl, the blonde.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, he does not represent Cedric the Entertainer.
I loved Sons of Anarchy. I know, yeah.
But she was the girl who she dated the guy who in real life ended up killing himself. The guy, half sack. But look at this roster of people. You've got Morris Day in the Time, who hasn't worked in 20 years. the only thing Jimmy Walker's on is a health insurance commercial right now that he probably got before signing with him. Kato Kalin is only known for being friends with the double murderer.
Marsha Warfield.
Yeah, who probably hasn't worked in at least 10 years. Bobby Brown, who the last thing she did was my podcast. No, I'm serious. I mean, this is the worst roster I've ever seen in my life.
Michael Winslow lives in Florida now. He lives in Orlando.
Who's this company? What is this?
Golden Artist Entertainment. There's nothing gold. And you got Jackie hold on, go up right there. You got Jackie the Joke Man, who hasn't worked since getting kicked off of Stern. What was that, 20 years ago?
He did my podcast.
So there you go. No, I like him, but I just, you got Keith Coogan, who the last thing he did was a podcast with me and William Zabka. Like, I don't know who this broad on the bottom is, but, and where's that? You notice he doesn't put the Ari Shafir video up when he's offering black people free rides to Africa and asking them if they get their hair cut at Fantastic Sambo's. You notice that's not on the...
I want to meet the team.
Yeah, so who runs all of this?
You're looking at him right there, buddy.
There you go.
Dante himself.
Dante. Okay.
How do you say his last name?
You,
where does he come from? Where does Dante come from? What was that?
He comes from Mars.
Mars. Okay.
This shows you what a bullshitter he is. I was watching the documentary. It's pretty good on Amazon about Fat Tuesdays, which was the black show at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
That gave a lot of black comics their first start of playing white clubs. And there's literally a 0.05 second scene of Dante sitting in the patio. He's telling people he was in the documentary now.
Oh, yeah, it's his credit.
Yeah.
By the way, here's one thing you'll never see again. Tonight, Dante sold out.
Yeah, but sold out where? Yeah, there. Oh, wait, there we go. Now, this shows you how dumb he is. He literally leaves up a poster of him and Ron Jeremy doing a tour together. Ron Jeremy's raped more people than Bill Cosby. Ron Jeremy literally got Me Too'd out of porn, and Dante still has his picture up on the website.
Over 30 years in comedy. He was a cast member in the last season of Last Comic Standing. 2-time winner, audience favorite, Capital One auto. Okay, now it starts getting sketchy. Yeah.
It's like, and he misspells Milton Berle. Here's one of the greatest comics of all time. My personal favorite, because he was in 2 videos of my band Rat. You'd think he would spell arguably a top 5 comic of all time's name right. Oh wait, there we go.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
Literally.
Look at that.
Oh, leaves it up there.
The following contest has been identified by YouTube. Oh, but he still leaves it up. That's
insane.
Yeah, especially when he was all about Black Lives Matter and all that, right?
Oh yeah, and then 2 weeks ago he posted he saved some baby, and of course there's no documentation of anything. He's out of control.
At least take the title down. I mean, especially in this climate. I mean, Dante, that's a bad move.
So now you're all caught up, Tyler.
I love this guy. I think that I could get on his roster.
You probably could.
I might as well try.
Maybe it'd be the reverse for you. You've never worked before in the business, and then you sign with him and you start booking gigs.
I mean, I'm just going to make a fake resume.
But this is the type of guy Brody would make fun of. So this does have something to do with Brody's death.
Yeah, I want to see if Dante left a tweet about Brody. I'm sure he did. Yeah, he's probably his heart goes out to his family. I just talked to him yesterday, blah, blah, blah.
Even though he never booked them in 10 years of booking shit bar gigs in the Valley.
Yeah. Valley Village. So where were you when he died? Where'd you get the news?
I was on my couch waiting for him to come over. I think
that was that. He was supposed to come over that day.
Yeah, and I called. I left him a message going, "At least you could do is call me if you're not coming over, dick." So
that was the last text you sent him.
Yeah. So I'm sure his sister got that. I was like, okay. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people don't know this, but you're one of the few people to clean out his apartment when he died.
No, I did not. That was, I believe, Stephen Randolph and someone else. I cleaned out Jeff Scott, the piano player.
Okay.
From the Comedy Store, who died of HIV. That was a tough one. That was, I don't want to jump deaths here, but Jeff was like a gay Brody. Like he was a cool dude, but it was a tough one because he had like a 700-pound piano in his apartment, and I'm probably the only comic who could help lift it.
So, like a baby grand.
It was a very old wood. It was a wood, I believe, wood-based piano, but just incredibly heavy. Yeah, I guess you could say it was a baby grand. He was a world-class piano player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he brought up every comic in the world at the Comedy Store, from Kennison to Pryor to me and everything in between. So he died, and it was really, Rogan's in Texas, so he can't help us. Like, that's how much Jeff meant he was very Brody-like in that regard. Like, Joe Rogan, if he was in town, would have come over and helped. Like,
for sure.
Jeff brought him up hundreds of times.
Yeah.
So it was me and the two managers at the Comedy Store, and the Mexican, he's like at the Comedy Store, he's like the go-to fixer-upper guy. Like, he could fix a hole in the ceiling, he could fix the TVs, he could fix the Wi-Fi, and it was very and Sean Polofsky, who helped organize the moving crew. But the one good thing about it was I got to go to the Comedy Store warehouse, which very few people get to, and it was all Jeff Scott stuff. Like, he just was him and Brody were very similar. Like, Brody collected sports shit. Jeff collected like music, show tune, Broadway type stuff. So we miss it. The store's not the same with either one of them.
Yeah. It's funny is I never got past at the store. I never tried. It always just, cause I remember going around when it was dark, and it was fucking, nobody wanted to hang there. And I was like, this place stinks. And then I moved away, but I never tried. But I got to perform in all the rooms, and Adam would put me up during the potluck, the guest spots.
Right.
So I did that. Tripoli got me a spot in the OR, and I did Sarah Mello show. I did a million shows in the Belly Room, but the fact that I was in that and Jeff Scott played me on stage, so I kind of feel, if anything, I've done some shit. I was a part of something, kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean, Jeff. The great thing about Jeff was if he stayed in the room, that meant he liked you.
Well, cool. He stayed in the room.
But like the store, especially the original room, can be a tough room at times, and we've all bombed there multiple times. But if Jeff stayed in the room, he was saying, "Hey, it's a tough room. I'm going to help you." He had the best sense of timing. Like, he knew everyone's jokes. He knew the cadence. He knew when the punchline would be, and if it didn't get a laugh, he would do a musical cue that would always work. Like with me, he would always do a Village People song to get the room going if I was bombing. And so he was very Brody. He was like really a gay Brody. Like, he had that wacky sense of humor that you'd think in theory you shouldn't get if you were the audience. Like, he would always play the Village People song Milkshake, which is such an obscure song. Even if you love the Village People, very few people can name that song, because it's the movie they did. It's the song they did in the movie with Bruce Jenner. Can't Stop the Music.
I didn't even know that.
They did a movie in 1980. It was like their last gasp. But it was like Kiss meets Phantom of the Park, but it was their version of that, and
it was the Village People's Hail Mary.
Yeah, and it bombed horribly. Like every actor in that movie basically never worked again, except for Valerie Perrine, who was Miss Tessbacher in the Superman movies. I used to see her around my neighborhood. I'm like, oh my God, you were in the Village People movie. And she would just look at me and go, dude, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, don't. Why are you bringing that shit up?
Yeah, it is the one thing that bums me out when I was just out there in LA what was it, 2 weeks ago or whatever, that I didn't make my way out to the Comedy Store for a night. And that's like, because I don't know when, if ever, I'll go back out to LA. And that, like, and just like the little bit of history I know about the Comedy Store, that's the one place that I would want to go in LA. And so that's my biggest regret, was not finding like just a pocket of time just to go.
I mean, it is a very magical place.
I know it's like super different now with all the changes with Mitzi, and all that, but still, like, just to at least see it, even if I just walked by it. Yeah, I didn't even do that, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a place like it on earth. Like, it's just it's the history of the building. Before it was the store, it was the place called Ciro's, owned by the mob, and like so many legendary things. Like it was the first show Sammy Davis did after he lost his eye there. Sinatra would play there. Mm-hmm. So it's not many comedy clubs can say they have that kind of a history. I think it's where Joe DiMaggio met Marilyn Monroe, or he took her there on the first date, or something along those lines.
Earl, Tyler, this is what you missed out on. You could have saw this.
Yeah. There I am in my Rowdy Roddy Piper t-shirt that I paid. By the way, you're pointing towards Paul Provenza. I messaged him the other day. I did a deep dive on Miami Vice because I realized I never really watched seasons 4 and 5. Like, for some reason, I just stopped after 3 because it was like it's getting a little jumping the shark territory. And Paul Provenza was in an episode, and he was like a drug dealer. And it was just funny. I messaged him, and I could tell I embarrassed him. He's like, "That was my first acting gig," and he was good in it. So, of course, there's Rob Schneider's name. That's funny that my name got right there.
I'm so stupid that for a split second I was like, everyone has very similar handwriting.
Well, there's a funny thing is my fucking fat head is blocking Marilyn Reichkub's name, and I gave her a ride home once because she was a little tipsy, and I never met her before. So my friend Dave Taylor was like, "Hey, can you give Marilyn a ride home?" And she looked at me like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And Dave's like, "He's the only guy up here who's not going to try and rape you." So I give her a ride home, and it's really awkward for, she lived in Encino. And so for about the first 15 minutes, it's complete silence in the car. And I thought I'll do an icebreaker with her. I'm like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of 24. I named my dog Chloe after your character." And I could tell that kind of, like, she was like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet. How is Chloe doing?" I'm like, "She died 2 weeks ago." And so, it's, I only had her for 4 months. R.I.P. Chloe. But, Chad, do you think the Cellar in New York is a similar vibe? I've never been.
You never been to the Cellar?
Well, I can't go and hang out. If I'm not, they wouldn't put me up, I don't think. So I'm not the type to go and hang out.
Yeah, it's not similar. It's definitely different. I mean, it seems like the inmates are running the asylum at the store. I mean, it's in, there's all craziness going on. And Cellar's very corporate, very structured. I guess the store got pretty corporate and structured towards the end there, but it's smaller. And there's not a lot of like places to hang either. At the store, you can go in the back room, go in the green room, hallway, parking lot, patio. But at the Cellar, you just got like tables, and they're like, they don't want you just sitting there unless you're buying something. So it's not a cool hang.
Why wouldn't they put you up? Earl?
Oh, I mean, I'm an LA guy, so I'm not really known in New York. So, and
But I mean, you're most certainly known. Like,
I mean, I'm not known enough to go, oh, Earl's here, put him up. You know, you gotta, just like a lot of New York comics come to the Comedy Store and it's like, hey man, this is the #1 club in the country. We realize you're a big deal in New York, but this ain't New York. So
that's fascinating to me. Yeah.
Just give you an idea. I went there once, and Mike Vecchione, who's a great comic out of New York, was sitting on the stairs of the Belly Room. He's about to perform in front of like 4 people because he's like, I can't get any spots, and he's great. I mean, he's passed at every club in New York, so it's just a different coast, different vibe. You know, it's who you know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be a regular there, but you know, I'm not in New York enough to care. Like, but you know, I think it's pretty cool. There's a few, like chadzumock has passed at both. I mean, obviously he's going to be passed at both, but you know, it'd be pretty neat to say you're past the top 2 clubs in the country, as well as the Stand, which is I've done there, and I love the Stand.
Stand's great. Shout out Patrick Milligan. Hey guys, we're up against it. I got my property manager coming over to fix the water, and she's supposed to be here, so I got to get this all out, and I'll get this over to you, Earl, so you can post it too.
Yeah, man. Always nice to meet you, Tyler. I hope we didn't bore you too much with just stories about the gay piano player.
Nah, I love it. No, but I knew about him and his passing. And again, someone else just like Brody I've never met, but like just another piece of that story and reasons why I would want to go to the Comedy Store and didn't get to. But nonetheless.
He was great. Because, like, you know, obviously he's gay, and I had some gay jokes I wouldn't do if he was in the room, and he knew that. And he'd be like, dude, do the Village People joke. I'm like, I want to hear it. So, like, he was a true friend of comics. And, you know, to anyone who knew him, when you walk in the original room now, although they have Chevy Chase's daughter does the piano now, and she's amazing. She's done a really good job.
It's amazing. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Is that why Chevy Chase is there a lot now?
He's not there that much. I think he got on stage once and did some stories and then left. But it's definitely a void is in that corner of the room because he was such a gay Liberace, over the top character that he's missed. He was very much Brody, but in a homosexual form.
Well, shout out to the late great Brody Stevens, February 22nd, 2022. I'm curious to see who's going to die in this show next out of the
Who knows? I mean, who knows, dude? I mean, we're around so much death, doesn't even affect me anymore. Like, literally when Matt died, the kid from Calgary, you know, I was sad for about 5 minutes. And then I said to Chandler, hey, what kind of burrito do you want? Like, it's just so like, no, I feel sad that I'm so, you know, I think Adam was the one who, the old booker from the store messaged me about Matt. And I was like, I didn't cry, but I welled up for a minute. And then I literally focused, okay, what am I eating? Like, just, you know, I mean, before we go, Chad, how many comics would you say that you have known who have died?
Ralphie, I didn't know him well, but I met him. Brody, let me think. I'm trying to think that I know.
But probably, I mean, ballpark it. I mean, I would say for me, I've probably known 20.
You knew him.
In the 22 years I've been doing it, I would say I lose at least one friend a year.
Yeah, I'd say not necessarily, maybe 10.
Right.
If you want to include Ramsey Moore, I didn't know him well.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Ramsey, like, Jesus Christ. We did one last thing, dude. It involves a lot of names we've talked about. And I always, shows you Hollywood. Sam Tripoli did a movie called Breaking Her Down, which is about 2 rappers from the 80s coming back in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Brody was in it. Ramsey was in it. I played Sensei Byrne. Now you think, why was your name Sensei Byrne? Because Steve Byrne backed out at the last second, and they literally didn't change my name. Like, you think they would have called it Sensei Earl, and no, I was Sensei Byrne, and It's one of the great, should have been a movie or whatever, but just like 2 weeks before Tripoli released it, Jamie Kennedy put out Malibu's Most Wanted, which is basically the same story. Welcome to Hollywood.
There it is. Inappropriate Earl on SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. Follow Earl on Twitter, Instagram, social media. He's all over the place. He's a podcast favorite. Everyone loves Earl. And Tyler, your website, if you guys need some video work done, freelance
We'll be right
shit.
down there.
Yeah, we're going to have graphics up here, Earl. So,
Shit, really?
it's going to look good. It's going to look good. But thanks so much for listening, guys. Leave a 5-star review on all our podcasts. That's a wrap. Rest in peace, Brody.